I'm Stuart Young and I represent Fiatech in Europe and the Middle East. On behalf of all of us at Fiatech, I'd like to thank you for joining us today for this webinar, the Mobile IT Community of Interest. Before we start, I'd like to remind you that Fiatech is a member-based organisation with the objective of accelerating the deployment of technology in the capital projects industry. We have nearly 100 member organisations, partners, including academia and subject matter experts and companies, and welcome new members to participate in our activities. If you are interested in joining us or would like more information, or indeed have any ideas on topics for future webinars, please drop me a note at young@fiatech.org. Now, a bit of a safety moment. It crops up now and again, but when using mobile devices on site, managers must set an example for the rest of the workers. Make it a practice to stand still, watch your surroundings more closely before taking a call, reading, returning text, entering any information, or browsing. Watch out for guardrails, extension cords, trip hazards, housekeeping, got to be considered, and conditions above one's head. Don't remove your PPE. There are a number of research projects through our members that are underway to look at the effects and use of hardware on site, and we hope to show you some of this work in one of our follow-up sessions in the coming months. For those of you unfamiliar with CII research, I just want to clarify Fiatech's relationship with CII. The Construction Industry Institute was formed Fiatech back in 2000 with the purpose of advancing breakthrough research related to automation of processes in construction. Since then, Fiatech projects have focused on researching upcoming processes enabled through these new and emerging technologies that will improve project performance. The companies represented in this webinar you can see, there are a couple of others that came in late, and we welcome those participants also. Question: why mobile IT? Technology has significantly enhanced project information mobility for construction projects, but it's thought that it's only scratched the surface to date. There are still many opportunities for the industry to increase productivity through improved project information flow. We as a community hope to realise these potentials, and with your help we can make a real difference to this industry and increase productivity. Now I'd like to welcome and introduce our presenters. We've got Shanaya at the top there. She's a graduate of the University of Texas at Austin. She holds a BS in chemical engineering, has worked for the Dow Chemical company for 16 years in Freeport. In that time, she has held roles as a process engineer, improvement engineer, run plant engineer, through Six Sigma engineering, Zachry subject matter expert, and is currently the global construction IT manager. In her current role, she and her team are responsible for providing best-in-class tools, training, support, and expertise for Dow's global construction management organisation. We've got Todd, who's over 25 years of construction industry service with various assignments related to project management. He has assisted with various business units to find solutions through implementation of technologies or construction methods to assist in project execution and delivery. He's part of the Fiatech project studying real-time field reporting on construction job sites using smart devices, and he's currently a roadmap champion for Fiatech's Technology Roadmap Element 4, Intelligent and Automated Construction Job Site, and Roadmap Champion for Element 7, New Materials and Methods. Todd's project experience is spread across several markets, including civil infrastructure, commercial, government, industrial, and the project size he's been involved in have a range from $2 million to $900 million. And Fernando graduated from the University of Texas with a PhD in civil engineering. He recently started working for Fiatech. Fernando has the responsibility of coordinating the mobile IT community of interest and will soon become involved in the real-time field reporting project. In addition to Fernando's work at Fiatech, he's held a position with Bentley Systems until recently, where he did research on users' processes and information requirements in the context of advancing work packaging. So today, Todd, Shanaya and Fernando will introduce us to the mobile IT community of interest, and then Shanaya will present the research they've been doing at Dow Chemical regarding the use, implementation, and assessment of mobile devices in the field. Okay, Fernando, you're up next, but before we get to that, I'd like to say again, thank you for joining us today. If you wish to find any more information about Fiatech, then please drop me a note or visit the website. And lastly, before I hand over, please consider attending the annual conference March 31st through April the 2nd at Huntington Beach in California. Great opportunity to see some of the emerging technologies and mix with members alike. Over to you, Fernando.
All right, thank you, Stuart. There you go. And again, thanks to everybody for joining us. We are very pleased to introduce this community of interest as a space to exchange and generate knowledge related to use of mobile IT in the field. This community is an effort to bring together ideas from owners, operators, contractors, and vendors to support decisions in the field and share the knowledge to implement those ideas in the industry. And thank you to those who took the survey during registration. We'll present your input later during the webinar. This is the outline of the webinar. At least the part we'll be presenting before Shanaya goes into her part. First, we'll discuss what is a mobile IT community of interest, or vision, or objectives, and then we'll talk about how the community will meet and which types of deliverable we expect to create out of it. Then we'll look at a variety of examples of the types of projects that the community can engage in and different partnerships to advance our work. Finally, Shanaya will give us a brief presentation on the work they have done at Dow Chemical in terms of implementing IT for construction personnel. This presentation that Shanaya will do illustrates the type of work we hope to see in subsequent meetings of the community. And at the end of the presentation, we probably won't have time for a full discussion as we expect to do in subsequent meetings, but we should have a few minutes for questions. Now we're going to show you a video that we prepared. We have prepared earlier to help us explain the vision of the community and what we intend to achieve.
In Fiatech, we embrace the opportunity to shape the job site of the future. We have started the Mobile IT Community of Interest to drive efforts for the implementation of computers in construction job sites. Through this community, we'll be able to disseminate mobile solutions that will significantly contribute to the industry's advancement. The primary focus of the community is to meet regularly to discuss challenges, issues, and solutions for the adoption of technology tools in this field. The knowledge generated from these meetings will support new projects in Fiatech and the industry. These projects are expected to provide guidance and lessons learned for the design and deployment of mobile tools, as other Fiatech projects have done, such as a real-time field reporting research project. Construction firms can utilize the practical findings of these projects to decide which type of solution better suits their workers' needs, and also to know which decisions are enhancing the field by given types of mobile tools. Likewise, technology developers can utilize those findings to inform their designs. This is valuable knowledge that can move the industry away from imposing systems on field personnel towards designing systems that better suit their work processes. Why is this needed? Think of the amount of information that construction field managers have to process during coordination activities. Material storage, resources availability, equipment access, modifications for unfit scaffolds, safety inspections. If their response is to provide them with tools that do not respond to their job processes, the outcome will be the same that has been obtained so far. They are going to keep rejecting the technology because it simply adds to the complexity of their jobs, and there are not enough benefits to keep trying to use it. The solution? To learn collectively about which parts of existing or upcoming technologies are compatible with the work being carried out in the field. The mobile IT community of interest at Fiatech can make this industry cooperation happen.
Thank you, Stuart. It's unfortunate the audio quality was not as
We
expected,
embrace
but
the opportunity to shape the job site of the future.
as of this morning, that you can find the video on YouTube, so feel free to look it up. Now I'll pass it over to Shanaya, who will explain more about the motivation and objectives of the community.
Okay. Thank you, Fernando. So I'm here to talk to you today about an idea that I thought of and started doing on a small scale about 4 years ago when I attended my first Fiatech conference. While I was at the conference, I found a handful of people who were doing a role similar to my construction IT manager role at other companies. We decided to meet virtually on a monthly basis and just knowledge share with one another. And the results that we found were very beneficial for all of us. I shared what we were doing with the Fiatech organization, and they were interested in growing the concept and including a larger audience. And we decided to call it the Mobile IT Community of Interest. So this community is basically an effort to bring together project stakeholders' ideas and improve efficiency using mobile IT in the field, and then knowledge share and implement those ideas in the industry. Next. The community has the vision to bring together industry participants to collaborate on the implementation of mobile IT. This would provide knowledge about new technologies and applications, and successful adoptions of mobile tools and the lessons learned. So altogether, the community will advance the end user's knowledge of mobile IT in the field. Next. This mobile IT community of interest has 3 main objectives. The first objective is to hold meetings regularly to share knowledge and ideas on new technologies between mobile IT community of interest participants. The second objective is to generate projects and opportunities for research around mobile IT. We want to basically learn and understand where current mobile IT applications are delivering value to businesses, as well as establish a list of industry challenges surrounding the adoption and deployment of mobile IT. Our third objective is to provide feedback and guidance for existing projects from the knowledge generated through the community. Okay, stay on this slide. This is the slide I'm on now. Okay, here are some examples of how we plan to initiate the conversations, what we plan to document and share with one another. Where is mobile IT delivering value for your business and how? We plan to include owners, contractors, and software developers to get an all-encompassing learning experience. How do we drive more interest in projects in Fiatech around mobile IT? And how do we learn about what the challenges are in your organization around the adoption and deployment of mobile IT? Next. So during these virtual mobile IT community of interest meetings, the intent is to have participants present ideas and findings to the group about new technologies and applications. And then this is going to be followed by a discussion about the challenges, the issues, and barriers to adoption, questions and answers, and interactive feedback and conversation. And from this discussion, we can sort of casually survey the interest in forming a subgroup to further define the concept or propose a formal Fiatech project if needed. Next. So any subgroups or projects that are formed from this mobile IT community of interest will produce documentation, and that will provide input for design and implementation of the mobile IT. This could include reports to document processes, pilot tests, or use cases, and they can give insight into the benefits, the challenges, and the costs involved in this new use of technology and applications. So other deliverables may include maybe checklists or forms and guides to support that implementation. So overall, these deliverables are meant to serve as input for design and deployment of mobile IT. Now I'll pass it over to Todd Sutton from Zachry, who's going to explain the Fiatech projects process and share some examples with us.
Thank you, Shanaya. I'm going to go over quickly on the project formation process. Within Fiatech, we have the project formation schedule, which I'm going to cover the timeline for this past year that we just completed, the timeline for the formation. So August 2013, we received the project ideas. In September, we had the initial review by Fiatech Capital Project Roadmap team. And then October, we had further development of the proposals with significant interest and merit, followed by the distribution to Fiatech members for feedback and comment at the Fiatech members meeting, and also by members all through online project surveys. In January 2014, we had the final selection, review, and approval by the roadmap team and board of advisors, and then the new projects team leaders are notified, and then the projects will be starting. So the work done by the subgroups in the community may be proposed as a full project for Fiatech by August 2014. Next. Here is a list of Fiatech projects that are ongoing or have been completed, which reflect the type of projects that can stem from the community. These are illustrative examples of the knowledge that can come out from the community of interest. Next. One example of past projects is the first phase of the user acceptance of mobile IT project. A report was produced to guide through technologies that have been accepted in the field. Findings support the answer to mobile technologies acceptance, failure points during implementation, and successful introduction of technologies to the field. Another example, next. Another example is in the second phase of the user acceptance of mobile IT project. This one provided a snapshot of how mobile IT is being used on job sites, and also gave insight into barriers for adoption. Findings give insight into the potential of mobile IT in the field, factors that influence successful adoptions, as well as barriers and appropriate efforts and use of resources for implementation. Next. The real-time field reporting is an ongoing Fiatech project that is in line with the expected outcomes of the community of interest, as well as the enhancing asset knowledge through the use of augmented reality technologies project. These projects are producing knowledge that can support design and implementation of mobile IT in the field. Next. The community will aim to leverage Fiatech's ongoing partnership with COMMIT. COMMIT acronym stands for Construction Opportunities for Mobile IT. COMMIT is a UK-based organization whose aim is to learn from experience to deliver measurable business benefits. It is a community comprised of approximately 60 organizations from the key stakeholder areas of construction, design, engineering, technology, academics, and media. Next. As you can see, the objectives of COMMIT are well aligned with the objectives of the community of interest. Some of the recent projects can be of interest to the community. Some of them are already being carried out in conjunction with Fiatech. These are indicated by the ones with an asterisk. I'll give you a quick moment to glance through the list and see which projects pique your interest. Next. Earlier projects in which Fiatech and COMMIT have engaged together have provided specific benefits to participating organizations and members with return on investment periods under a year. This tells of the magnitude and benefits of the projects that can come out of the community of interest. Now I'll hand it over to Fernando Mondragon so he can touch on other initiatives and projects that the community can work together.
Thank you, Todd. Those examples will illustrate the kinds of projects that can come out of the community. Now I'll go over briefly go over a list of other initiatives that may be of interest to explore initially as part of the community. There's the BIM for Mobility initiative, which is focused on capturing BIM-related data in the field. There's also the Real-Time Location Technologies project to improve the viability of augmented reality tools in the field. In the previous Fiatech conference, you may have seen some work in this regard. Next. There's the Mobile Cloud project, which I believe is a commit project, and it was presented as a Fiatech webinar last Tuesday, October 29th, and it's up there on the website, the recording, so you can look at it. And it's a platform service, Mobile Cloud, that focuses on app development for distributed mobile devices across different geographical areas. There's also the Enable My Team application, also a commit project, and it is aimed at transforming procurement processes through cloud services. This application should be available for download from their site if anybody wants to test it out. And there's also a variety of social media applications for organizations such as Yammer and Soho, so those may also be of interest to participants. Next. Now, organizations such as NetMotion Wireless and Dow Chemical have created groups of interest to discuss challenges in applications of up-and-coming mobile devices. Likewise, we have had conversations with CII's Breakthrough Strategy Committee, led by John Fish from Fort Bacon Davis, to collaborate in terms of providing solutions for field workers. Next. For along, here's another set of ideas of different topics that the community can work in, including safety, use of BIM data, materials management, gathering of RFI information in the field, data standards, digital signatures, real-time progressing, and so on. I'll give you another second to glance through it. Next. Okay, so once again, thank you for those who responded to your survey during the registration process. From your responses, we gathered the following as main areas of interest: mobile software, utilization of BIM data, materials management, mobile hardware, RFI documentation in the field, electronic files control, training field staff on new technologies, and I think those are the main ones that people were interested in working on. So some respondents have indicated that they would like to participate as subgroup leaders, so we'll get back to you on that in the next couple of weeks. And if you haven't taken the survey yet, you can still do so at the address shown on the screen. Next. So, next steps for the community. First, everyone has expressed interest has been added to the community list. If you're not interested, please send us an email to myself or Stuart Young, so we can remove you from our email list. Next thing is to build subgroups around key areas, as you can see that as I presented in the previous slide, and we also like to extend the group, invite others who may be interested. Also ask people to share and present their experiences. We need to line up presenters such as Shanaya, who will be presenting in a couple of minutes about the work they have done at Dow. And we want to build new project ideas and initiatives, so based on the work of subgroups. So that'll be midterm work. Next. So according to our survey, monthly meetings are preferred, or the preferred time frame. So the next meeting we'll set up for Wednesday, March 5th at 9 a.m. Central Time in the U.S. Presenters and general discussion topic are still to be determined, since this is our first meeting. So please let us know if you're interested in doing so. Next. All right. So that's it. That's a presentation about the community. Now I'll pass it along to Shanaya. As I mentioned, she will be talking about the work they have done at Dow, in terms of assessing and implementing mobile devices for construction personnel. We'll take questions about the community of interest at the end.
Okay, thank you, Fernando. So in one of my roles, I lead our IT construction team that's responsible for choosing all of the hardware and software for our construction group globally here at Dow. We watch how our construction personnel do their jobs, and then we find ways to help them do it smarter, faster, and more efficiently using IT. I've been doing this particular role at Dow for about 5 years. So I'm going to give you just an overview and highlight some of our mobile IT-related projects that we've been working on for our construction group. In addition, this will serve as an example presentation you might see given at a mobile IT community of interest meeting in the future, or like Fernando mentioned, maybe you have some great ideas and will volunteer to be one of our presenters for one of our next mobile IT community of interest meetings. Next. In 2010, we researched rugged tablet devices for our construction managers and our inspectors. The unit we ended up selecting was the Panasonic Toughbook CF19. It's a fully rugged computer. It's a convertible laptop, which means it can be used in either tablet mode or in laptop mode. And it's intrinsically safe, so it has a hazardous classification of UL 1604 Class 1 Div 2 for those of you who follow that stuff. It has real-time connectivity through an internal cellular Gobi chip, or you can use Wi-Fi if that's available outdoors where you're at. And at Dow, we started looking into deploying industrial Wi-Fi throughout our chemical plants. So that's something that's just recently here started up so that Wi-Fi is faster than cellular, so the construction guys would prefer that. The screen can be easily viewed while you're outdoors. I know that that's generally a big complaint, is that you can't see the monitor or the screen while you're outdoors in bright sunlight, and these work really well. We've had very, very good luck with that. And then it has a camera which allows you to be able to take pictures while you're in the field. You can also edit or annotate the pictures, and then you can email it. And you can do all of that from the field while you're outdoors at the job site. Also, it has this functionality for live video, so you can actually Skype and have a conversation with somebody while you're outdoors. And it has GPS as well. So for us, this computer replaces the standard Dow workstation that we typically would issue our construction managers and inspectors. But it has the same image on it, so it's just like a standard Dow workstation, and it's just packaged in a different box. So everybody else at Dow might get, we deploy 55,000 Lenovo's, but our construction guys get this Panasonic Toughbook, and it's just it's the same exact software, but just packaged in a different computer box. And then we fully support this software within Dow. The software is supported by our corporate Dow IS group, and the hardware is supported by Panasonic. So after our construction users had their Toughbooks for about a year, we surveyed all of them to understand the time savings that they were getting. Many of them were saving several hours per week by being able to have their computer with them. And some of our more tech-savvy users were saving more than 2 hours a day. So overall, we calculated a time savings of about $1.8 million per year for only 150 construction personnel. So our initial investment and one-time cost for this was about $4,000 per person. So there's numerous benefits that construction documented as part of our value case. A few examples of these benefits are basically less driving back and forth. They're able to spend more time in the field observing safety, which is really important to us. And then we don't have to pay contractors to wait on the construction managers while they drive back to their office to go look up a question on their computer, because they have their computer with them right there in the field. And then a lot less printing, which is definitely more environmentally friendly. Next. So the picture on the left shows our current unit, the Panasonic Toughbook CF19. And as I mentioned, it's fully rugged, and it can even be washed with soap and water. And then the picture on the right shows the unit that we're currently evaluating as Dow moves towards Windows 8 in 2015. So the one on the right is a Panasonic ToughPad with many of the same characteristics and capabilities of the Toughbook that you see on the left. So it appears that the ToughPad, the one on the right, it appears to just be a tablet, but it's actually a full-fledged PC running Windows 8 Pro. And it's capable of being your entire enterprise workstation. And it can also run Windows 7. Next. So here's some additional images of this tablet, the Panasonic Tough Pad. It's fully rugged and it's Class 1 Div 2 certified, just like the previous one we saw, the Tough Book. It can be used with a finger or a stylus, as you see in the bottom left. The picture on the top right shows that it can be docked in your office, and you can use it with a flat screen monitor and an external mouse and keyboard, so you kind of get the feeling like you're working on a desktop type computer comfortably ergonomically. And then when you head out to the field, you can just grab the tablet and go. Grab the tablet from the dock and go. So it can also be used on the go like a mobile computer, as shown in the picture on that bottom right. And the picture in the middle shows you how thin it is. And if you hold it, you'll find that it's really surprisingly light, and its weight is 2.5 pounds. And the screen size on that tablet is 10.1 inches. So hopefully you've been thinking about who the people are in your organization that could benefit from some sort of computer like this. So here's a few thoughts that our team came up with for our field workers. And keep in mind, we have lots of different field workers here, not just construction, but maintenance and instrument and electrical and projects and all different kinds of people who work in chemical plants. So this is kind of, I'll give you just a quick bit of our list. So someone who can be more productive by basically just having their computer with them in the field. Workers who need to hook up their instruments or equipment to a computer for configuration, which is typically our instrument and electrical people. People who need to do real-time equipment monitoring from the field. And it can also be used to view procedures or specifications from the field. GPS location can be used for those who need to find a location or document exact satellite coordinates. And someone can conduct audits or write permits from the field. And some businesses have purchased the Tough Books, where there is a permanent need to keep them located in like a warehouse or an MCC building, a lab, or some other dirty type of environment. And then if somebody wanted to view 3D models or P&IDs or other drawings while they're in the field, they could do this as well. Next. So let's move on to talking about another hardware opportunity that we have taken advantage of here at Dow. Our construction spend a lot of time away from their offices. And although we thought they were really benefiting from the Tough Books that we implemented, there was still a desire to have a faster, more portable access to their Dow email and calendar. So we chose the Apple iPhone 4, and with the cost dropping to just 99 cents in September 2012, it was the perfect selling point for our leadership. The incremental cost for the data plans was only $13 per month per person. So we purchased OtterBox cases. The cases are rugged but not intrinsically safe. So although they can't use the phones within many of the chemical plants, it still allows them to be significantly more efficient and productive while they're in the field, in the general areas, and then while they're on the go. Getting enterprise iPhones allowed them to access their email, their calendar, their tasks, Dow's global address book, our intranet, our SharePoint sites, and then we also had wireless hotspots came for free on the family plans. So based on a survey of 64 users, you can see that their time savings amounted to about $2.8 million per year in savings. Next. So there's many other beneficial free iPhone apps that exist that our construction personnel make use of, and I'm sure many of you already make use of these and many other apps today. Another cell phone project underway at Dow is taking all of our cell phones globally and outsourcing management of them to a company called Moby. And this way, no one at our company is wasting time trying to understand, what kind of cell phone to buy, what plan they should get, what features they need. Moby allows all of us to pool all of our voice and data across the company with our current cellular providers. And the company optimizes each person's usage for us, so there's minimal waste. And then Moby also provides us with just one-stop shopping and troubleshooting for everything cell phone related. So this project is expected to save Dow Chemical upwards of $1.5 million per year. Next. Here's the kiosk concept. So as it says, it's just a concept right now. And the concept is, what if we could take a big screen tablet or a computer out into the field and have project and safety meetings around this computer? What if a craft worker had a question in the field and you could just walk right up to the kiosk and pull up the drawings, the 3D model, or the project specifications to answer their question quickly, accurately, and efficiently? Maybe we can even print something in color, or better yet, in 3D if needed. What hardware do you need at the job site to make the work more efficient? This is the concept, and this is what we're trying to work on further developing. There are actually several kiosks out in the marketplace today, and this is just a picture of one of them. But it seems to me that our industry isn't really making the best use of these kiosks, and I'm not sure really why that is. But at Dow, we have plans to investigate this further this year. And we want to further define this kiosk concept because I think it has potential, and I think it has potential to be a mobile IT community of interest subgroup if there's enough interest from others. And in addition, the CII Breakthrough Strategy Committee is also very interested in further developing this kiosk concept. Next slide. So at Dow, this picture depicts 3 mobile hardware items we envision our construction workers to have available to them in the field in the near future. We think this will best set them up for success. So you can see there's the Panasonic ToughPad at the top left, the enterprise iPhones with the rugged cases at the top right, and some sort of a kiosk concept at the bottom there. And we plan to conduct several additional, a number of additional interviews and brainstorming sessions within Dow with our construction personnel and our other field workers as well to ensure that we're on the right track. But basically, some preliminary work has led us to these 3 hardware solutions, and we think we're on target to meet the needs of helping them do their job better, faster, and more efficiently out in the field. Next slide, please. So another project that we're working on is installing cameras in the field. So the problem our construction personnel came across is that they need to take many pictures in the field during the construction phase. And it's very time-consuming to then download them all and find ways to share them with all the necessary project people. So our construction personnel were very eager to find an improved solution to free up more of their time. So the objective that our team was charged with was to provide our construction personnel with an automated method for taking and downloading the photographs of their job site at a regular timed interval on a daily basis. And they also wanted a third-party hosted website that would allow only those people who had permissions to view the photos, because security of these photos is a very big concern at Dow. Next. So the vendor we selected to host this solution for us is EarthCam. Here are some highlights of the solution that we decided to choose. You can view past and present pictures. They're available anytime for anyone that has access to the website. EarthCam has a robust user management controls, and our security team concluded that it was low risk for us because of their good infrastructure. There's higher visibility of the job site and the progress. So engineers, construction managers, and other project personnel can all view the photos on a regular basis from their desks instead of actually having to travel to the job site. They could possibly even spot a potential safety issue sooner. Our cameras are set up to take pictures every 10 minutes throughout daylight hours. So EarthCam has numerous customization options, and they also have lots of flexibility with an a la carte service. So you can choose as much as you want, and you can be as involved or as little involved as you want. Next slide. So this is just a quick glimpse of a few of the camera solutions that they offer. So these 3 solutions sort of depict good, better, and best. The 6-megapixel camera would be the good, and they even have an industry-leading option of a gigapixel camera. And we just chose the 6-megapixel camera, but we were very, very impressed with being able to zoom in on a particular area, and the resolution is very good. Good enough for us to be able to zoom in and look at small details in the photos. Next slide. So these pictures just give you an idea of how construction progress can be viewed. Leadership, project teams, construction personnel can easily view these photos, and you can also then turn them into a movie of progressive still shots, and then you can view construction progress. And you can, like I mentioned, you can zoom in on a particular area and to study something specific. And for security reasons, these photos, as you can see, are clearly not of a Dow site. We're just using them as examples. Next. So from a hardware perspective, we have several innovative ideas in motion that I've just shared. But we lack good construction software that aligns well with our work processes. So we're working towards developing a global SAP-based platform tool for our construction group with a single user-friendly portal that encompasses the Dow work process. So the SAP platform will allow construction to integrate with the rest of Dow Chemical, because many of the other functions at Dow are currently all utilizing SAP, and we're in the middle of an implementation there. So we are going to try to find and develop good construction software that integrates with our SAP tools. Next slide. So in order to keep fresh with IT, here's what we do to keep ourselves engaged in mobile IT efforts that are going on in industry. We attend Fiatech's annual technology conference and showcase. We plan to actively participate in the mobile IT community of interest. We work on keeping abreast of current IT issues through various channels out there. And within Dow, we're working on developing a field mobile solutions expertise center. Or something similar, so that we can basically more easily leverage field mobile IT within Dow, rather than reinventing the wheel every time. And with this model, we can more easily be able to leverage our configuration, training, and support resources within Dow, and have a more streamlined approach to collaborating with our corporate IS group. As you can imagine, Dow Chemical is a very large company, around 40,000 employees, and when we look at mobile IT projects that are going on within our own company, there are hundreds of them, but no one collaborates with one another. Everyone kind of works in silos and doesn't know that other people are working on things. So I think it's very important, especially for large companies, if you don't have something like that, to have an internal organization where you have, leverage your field mobile IT expertise, and lots of benefits can come from that. So I only highlighted a few of our mobile IT efforts, but we do have several others going on, construction laydown yards using RFID and other things like that. But now I'll hand it back over to Stuart to wrap us up.
Thanks, Shanaya. If I can just move on to the next slide. There we are. I hope you enjoyed Shanaya's presentation, and Todd and Fernando. This is how the future meetings will look like. As Fernando mentioned, first one is the 5th of March, and we hope to have a series of presentations. I'm taking invitations at the moment from the various offers that I've had. For individuals who've listened in and contributed, and we'll present that in an agenda that we'll send out, and again we'll get to a point where we open the floor for questions and answers. We do have a few questions that have come in today, which I plan to go through now with you, if I may. And the first question, I think, as I mentioned earlier, questions are anonymous, and I'm quite happy afterwards to follow up. Anybody that misses any of the answers, we can follow up and share that information with people. The first question I've got here is, this is a question for Shanaya. What work have you done for the safe use of mobile IT And also, what PPE did Dow use? Shanaya?
Okay, yes, very good question. To address, well, to begin with, we had an EH&S team, an environmental health and safety team, that we put together specifically to address all of the EH&S concerns around using mobile IT in the field. So it was quite a process. The team met for quite a while. We even changed some of Dow's internal standards in order to incorporate mobile IT into some of them, because as you can imagine, mobile IT hasn't been in use in the field for very long here at Dow. So we had to update some of our global hot work policies, some of our camera policies, things like that. And we also developed a training class that everybody who gets a Panasonic Tough Book is required to go through before they are allowed to take their Tough Book out into the field. The training addresses the electrical area classifications, and they need to understand if they're in a Class 1 Div 2 area or if they're in a Class 1 Div 1 area when they go out into the field. So it ensures that they understand how to read the drawings and diagrams, and understands how to navigate themselves once they're outdoors. We purchased all different kinds of carrying straps, backpacks, things like that to address distraction concerns or concerns with them carrying things around. We've indicated to them how to climb a cage ladder while you're carrying your Tough Book, or make sure you put it back in your backpack while you're walking around out in the field. Just different things like that. But we did put together an EH&S team, and we made sure that we addressed all the EH&S subject matter experts at Dow, all of their concerns. And then the people who have Tough Books are going to have to annually have an annual refresher training of that class. And so we've, initially it was taught in person, taught virtually, so they had to attend sort of, virtually online, and then they have a refresher class that they take annually. And there's a post-test at the end to, ensure that they have understanding of the material. And as far as the PPE, so personal protective equipment, really the personal protective equipment for us is determined by what is happening out in the chemical plants and what kind of hazards are present. So, whether they have to wear, monogoggles and hard hat and hearing protection, that's all the chemical plant environment that they're in. But as I mentioned, we bought all these different types of straps, a strap that allows you to carry the rugged tablet diagonally across your body, or a short strap that just allows you to carry it with your hand, or backpacks that allow you to put it in your backpack. So those are kind of the, I guess maybe the PPE I think of specifically for the rugged tablets. Also, they do make harnesses that you can attach to your chest, so that if you wanted to sort of strap the computer to your chest, you could do that as well. There's all kinds of different third-party devices that have been made for these Panasonic Tough Books, as well as the Tough Pads, that help you carry it safely while you're out in the field. But I definitely recommend that anybody that wants to implement mobile IT, it is a big deal to make sure that you do it safely, and we don't want accidents in industry coming from people being distracted using their mobile IT while they were in in harm's way, out in the middle of a chemical plant, not paying attention to what was going on.
Okay, thanks, Shanaya, for that one. Another question I've got here. How can advanced mobile IT be introduced and implemented in immature construction industries like Saudi Arabia and operated by the small and medium-sized companies? Todd, I don't know whether you want to address that one, do you? Are you still there, Todd?
Yes, sir. So I can really talk about that, I guess, in respect to how we've actually rolled it out on some of our infrastructure type projects where mobile IT really wasn't being utilized to its fullest. And in those projects, we basically, I guess this would also apply to any type of implementation, but you're not just implementing the technology, you're actually looking at the process and developing looking at your current workflow for your business processes and identifying, in this case, solutions that could be provided through the implementation of the technology. So really you have to have a problem that you're trying to solve, that the end users need to be solved, not that you yourself thinks need to be solved. So working with the end users to get those type of technologies implemented through the use of basically just streamlining the work processes by implementing the technologies.
Okay, thank you, Todd.
And I want to add something to that right quick. I agree with everything Todd said, but one of the other things that that I've noticed, at least personally for our construction groups, is hands-on coaching. I think someone mentioned, I think the question mentioned maybe an immature workforce. And one of the things that we definitely notice is you can't sometimes just give a person a new mobile IT hardware tool, show them how to use it one time in an office-type setting, in a in a quick training environment, and then expect them to go outside and be at their fullest productivity with it. So one of the things that we're sort of experimenting with is sort of hands-on IT coaches that maybe job shadow or follow around the construction manager and watch how they do their work, and then coach them on, okay, this is the task that you've been asked to do. How do you think you should do it? And here's how the IT coach thinks you should do it. And I know this is really time-consuming, and it's maybe a bit of an ideal setting, but this can really help advance knowledge of the field workers with understanding how to use their mobile IT more effectively while they're out in the field. So hands-on coaching.
Okay, thanks, Shanaya. There's another question that's arrived here. Shanaya, I think this one would fit yourself better than Todd, but the tough books, how much RAM is in the tough books?
8 gigabytes, I believe.
8, okay.
Yeah, I think they come with 4 and they're upgradable to 8. And now they come standard with 8. Actually, a long time, several years ago when we purchased them, it was 4 upgradable to 8, but now 8 is standard, I believe. And then you can upgrade it even further than that, I believe, in the newer ones.
Okay, okay. Next question I've got here is, what is the plan to address IT security and protecting a company's intellectual property? I know you touched on a little bit, but could you expand on that?
Well, I guess we don't actually have to worry about that too much because basically we haven't really changed that much of how Dow manages their IT and their security. The biggest concern, with the tough books and the tough pads, everybody at Dow is issued a laptop computer of some sort in general, and it is their responsibility. They have their own user ID and password, and you don't share your information, you don't stay logged on, you lock your computer when you walk away, that kind of stuff. So from that standpoint, I don't see that the tough books or the tough pads really change how Dow IS, our corporate IS group, manage their security, and I don't think that we're causing any issues with that. Now, when we get into this kiosk concept that I presented, that's where I do think we need to sort of rethink security a little bit, and we haven't come up with a plan there yet of how we're going to do it. I feel confident that we can come up with a good solution that will meet everybody's security concerns. I don't know what the answer is going to be yet. Whether it's that you walk up to the kiosk and you have to log in with a particular user ID and password, and then mentally you only pull up material that is proper for your audience, depending on who's standing in front, or if we set up some kind of a guest user ID and password that only allows the craft workers that maybe don't work at Dow Chemical to access particular information. So that's where I see that we are going to come into a security issue with our mobile IT, with that kiosk concept, and what data and information is going to be available to them. But other than that, when we have enterprise iPhones, so our enterprise iPhones, when somebody gets an iPhone, and I call it enterprise because Dow loads Mobile Iron and all of their security software on it, and luckily our corporate IS group handles all of that for us. So it forces you to have a strong password and all that other kind of stuff on your cell phone. So basically, the cell phones are password protected, and our Dow IS group takes care of all of that using Mobile Iron software.
Great, thank you. Another question, Shanaya, for yourself. Is Dow providing devices to foremen and superintendents as well? I think you did mention that at one point, but can you expand?
Yes, yes. So we don't provide them to external contractors, superintendents, and foremen. We provide the iPhones and the tough books and tough pads to specifically people who work for Dow that are either our construction managers or our inspectors. Now, so these people work directly for Dow Chemical. I will say some of them are contractors, or some of them are Dow direct hires. But either way, these people work for Dow Chemical, and they are, again, construction managers or inspectors. And that's who we provide our mobile devices to. Now, the part that I mentioned that we were talking about providing access for is Wi-Fi. So what we're talking about doing is having outdoor Wi-Fi in our chemical plants, so that when our when craft people and foremen and superintendents come in with their mobile devices, they can then access our Wi-Fi and utilize that so that they have good speed and connectivity while they're outdoors in the field. But one of the things that we do want to do is we're going to be hopefully changing our expectations that our superintendents and foremen come in with their own mobile devices, because we do want to start electronic data exchange out in the field to make ourselves more efficient and productive.
Okay. Thank you. The next question I've got here is your Field Mobile Solutions Expertise Centre going to be staffed with former construction managers, stroke engineers?
What was the last thing? Construction managers or what engineers?
Stroke engineers.
I still didn't understand that last one.
Sorry, construction managers or engineers. That's
okay, construction managers or engineers.
Yeah.
So that's a good question. Personally, in our situation, I will tell you that I don't think any of our construction managers would like to go into our Mobile Solutions Expertise Center, nor do they probably have the skills to do that. There are a handful of people that probably have, there are a handful of them I could say that probably do have the skills, but I don't know that they necessarily have the interest. So what ends up happening, at least here for us, is that we sometimes can pull people from the manufacturing environment who maybe have an interest in IT. And so they have sort of plant experience, and maybe they've been on projects before where they've seen construction happen. But we haven't actually created this organization yet, or resourced it. But from what it looks like, and from the people who are currently working on mobile IT projects within Dow, most of them are engineers who just are, pretty tech savvy, or it's their hobby, or they have a strong interest in IT. And they also have kind of a manufacturing background or an I&E background or something like that. But in general, we only have about 350 construction people globally, and I haven't seen a lot of interest from those people wanting to do that.
Okay. Thank you. Next question. Does culture affect the introduction of new mobile IT, especially the small and medium sizes? Todd, could you come in for that one?
I guess as respect from the field workers directly, yes, I think the culture does play a big part of it. But like I mentioned before, if you're applying a solution that the field worker has, then they're more readily to adopt the new technology. So, and that's what we found out. We had issues where maybe we implemented a new solution, and we did a hands-on training, and it was implemented, and then we come back to it, a couple of weeks later, and find out that some of the workers had adopted the technology, or they left it in their vehicle, or whatever the case may be, and then so going back with those individuals, and then just giving additional hands-on instruction usually overcomes those barriers.
Okay. Thank you for that, Todd. Next question I've got here is, have you considered location-aware and context-aware applications to improve the safety of the end users? Context-aware applications will minimize the amount of interactions with the mobile device, and location-aware devices can lock down the applications for MDM. Shanaya, could you come in for that one?
I'm going to ask you to repeat the question one more time for me.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to have to, it spans greater than the dialog box at the moment, just a second. have you considered location-aware and context-aware applications to improve the safety of the end users? Context-aware applications will minimize the amount of interactions with the mobile device, and location-aware devices can lock down applications for MDM.
Okay, so I guess I'm interpreting that as sort of knowing where your people are, sort of personnel tracking, if I interpret that correctly. And right now, we don't have a big issue with that, and we are not looking into that in great detail. But I will say we do have some other projects where I've heard that they're more interested in doing that. Now, we have some work going on in Saudi Arabia where we're going to have thousands of people, and I've heard that they're looking into that kind of thing. And in the future, it might be something that we want to do on the job site. Now, what's more interesting is we have an administration building, and they're actually looking at that for our administration building for accountability purposes, like during hurricanes or icy weather or things like that. Just being able to track, you know, who's in the building or who's not in the building, that kind of stuff. So we have not looked into that a lot. We do know that it's very, very possible. We talked to a company, Aprion, that does do that, and we may do some test cases on it for administration buildings. We do have like a man-down type system that we use for some of our supply chain groups, where it's actually for pipeline, where people are working out in remote areas, and if there's a person that has an emergency, they sort of carry this device with them that they can push an emergency button, or it can tell if the person has fallen below grade level. And then it, you know, sets off an alarm somewhere, and somebody comes out to check on the person. So we've got a few different things like that out that we've been investigating.
Okay, thank you for that. Another question that's cropped up, which I could probably answer, is what do you have to do if you want to join the community? Okay, anybody can come along. You don't have to be a member. We obviously have to protect the interests of our members who pay fees to be a part of Fiatech, but anybody can join the community and participate through the subgroups, and we'd like to have you along. Please follow the link that I'll just show you on the next screen, if I can just get the thing to wake up. We don't have any more questions after that, but if there are any more, my contact details are on the Fiatech website. Please get in touch with either myself or Fernando, and we'll be pleased to assist you. But the next meeting, I think as we mentioned early on, is on the 5th of March, on Wednesday. I'd like to say thanks very much to Shanaya, Todd and Fernando for their input, their sharing and overview of the mobile IT community of interest. And I'd also like to say thank you to everybody that participated in the discussion with the questions. I do hope that you'll be able to join us for the sessions in the future, but also to join in any more of the Fiatech Tech Tuesday webinars. Please do look on the website. There are plenty more coming up this year. And that's it. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you.